morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Gorowski, and I'll be your host for today. As we wrap up May, we still have a few more live broadcasts focused on biodiversity. So all month long, we've been connecting with scientists and conservationists and explorers who are documenting our planet's amazing biodiversity, our amazing ecosystems, who are really bringing the stories to us of what's happening around the world. So loss of habitats, the loss of biodiversity, what it means to us and our daily lives. And then, of course, looking for solutions, working with communities, doing really good conservation work as well. So exploringbytheseat.com, you can find the last few events we have coming up in May. And then next month, we change gears and we dive into the ocean. So World Ocean Week coming up, we have a ton of live connections with ocean explorers, ocean researchers, ocean scientists. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, well, let's get into today's event. So today, I'm really excited. We're going to be connecting with Gaby Sandoval, and we're going to be talking a little bit about biodiversity in Ecuador. So she's an Ecuadorian biologist. She's working in the conservation field. She's serving as the vice president of the Khamai Foundation. It's an NGO that dedicates its work to save endangered species and ecosystems in Ecuador. So they're currently helping to protect several important rainforest and cloud forest reserves. These are home to many endangered species, probably undiscovered species of reptiles and amphibians. So her goal is really to improve the conservation model, the methods in Ecuador, but also around the world, because we really do have to protect the habitats. We have to protect the species that are found within them. So let's see if we can find Gaby backstage. Hey, Gaby, how are you?
Hello, good morning, Joe. Thank you so much for having me in this space. I'm really happy to meet you all from my little corner of the world.
Excellent. Well, Gaby, it's so great to be here connected with you live today. I've visited Ecuador a few times. What part of Ecuador are you joining us from today?
I'm right from Quito.
Okay.
So we are really having a really sunny day as summer is starting here as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Gaby, we're going to have students. We've got students in Canada, students in the US. They're going to have lots of questions for you when the time comes. But before we get there, it would be great to learn a little bit more about you, a little bit more about the really important work you and your team are doing.
Okay, I'm really happy to share about my work and how it is impacting of Ecuadorian ecosystems as well.
Perfect. Sounds good.
So okay, just start sharing the screen, is okay?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Yep, I'll keep an eye out for it backstage. If you are tuning in, don't be shy to use the chat sidebar. Let us know where you're tuning in from. You can send your questions there as well. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to that part. I see your screen loading, Gaby. That looks good so far. And
Everything's working?
perfect. We're good to go, Gaby.
Okay. So well, again, I'm really nice to meet you all. My name is Gabriela Sandoval. You can call me Gaby if you like. So I'm really happy to be sharing my work as an Ecuadorian biologist and conservationist. I work in the Khamai Foundation, as Joe introduced myself, and we are focusing our work to protect endangered species and habitats in my country. So, well, this is me in a field on the Pitador Reserve, one of our most important conservation projects that I will be explaining you all in a few minutes. So for a start, I'm going to introduce myself. I put this video of a little footage of me on field. Since I was a little kid, I felt really passionate about nature, about animals. I felt this deep connection with plants, with animals. So I decided to pursue my career as a biologist. I added a little bit of these little stickers so you can see me as my teammates do. They always call me like the pink girly biologist. I love pink color. So when I start working back on 2024 after graduating from college, my boss, Alejandro Arteaga, who is the CEO of Khamai Foundation, give me those pink boots to start my field work. So I'm always happy to be carrying or starting new adventures using my pink boots. You can see me. I'm always happy to do any activity field on field. So yeah, because biologists we can work in a lot of different fields of biology as well, on field, as laboratories, on research, etc. So yeah, this is a little bit of my about myself. I'm sorry. So yeah, you can ask me whatever you might want after my presentation. So we're going to start our field trip adventure on the cloud forest, specifically the Minda Cloud Forest, beginning with the story of the Arlequin Reserve. So first of all, I would like to tell you why cloud forests matter in my country. So cloud forests are situated within the Andean region in Ecuador, and they are constantly surrounded by trees and clouds and mist. That's what is named after cloud forest. So they are really important because they store a lot of important sources of water, regulate climate, protect soil, and are hosting the habitat of thousands of different species. So that's when we start talking about the Arlequin Reserve, a sanctuary in the Minda Cloud Forest. The Arlequin Reserve is a protected cloud forest and reserve in Ecuador, created mostly to protect the habitat of the critically endangered Mindo harlequin toad. As you can see, this little one is the Mindo harlequin toad. It's a really tiny species. In this picture, it might seem like a little big, but in the reality, it's the size of our thumbs. I would say even smaller. It's really cute frog, but unfortunately is critical in danger and is threatened by imminent extinction, as its population rates are critically low. However, thanks to our effort of my team and the Khamai Foundation, we have discovered so far 16 survivors, including 4 tadpoles, which means baby toads. So thanks to the support of different donors and conservation institutions such as Save a Foundation, World Rainforest Fund, we have been able to create and to expand the reserve into 33 hectares of protected cloud forests. And we are now protecting the habitat of thousands of endemic species of amphibians. As you can see, here is my pose holding a mantis. There are the two male, both male and female Atelopus mindoensis, or the Mindo harlequin toad. We have a lot of different kinds of frogs, amphibians. You can see the crystal frogs. They're super precious. We have also mammals, such as this squirrel. They are super fun to see because they are fighting over food with birds. We have lizards. We have this little one, this mammal. In Spanish, it is called cabeza de mate. We have this bird, um, this kind of owl, and we also have this different diversity of birds. So you can see also here both of our team members. On the left side is Amanda Quesada, one of our field biologists, and on the right side is Gerardo Bando, our local park ranger. So every day we are working in the reserve on a daily basis, monitoring species, and we are starting anytime soon our next monitoring season to search for additional survivors of the Minder harlequin toad, as the toad prefers the dry season, and summer is starting here in Ecuador. See, you can see Gerardo with the frog, and we were planting also because we are also restoring the whole habitat, some clear areas that have been cleared to cattle ranching, to have cows. So we are aiming to protect and restore the habitat of the Minder harlequin toad completely. Okay, so we are going to switch now to the Amazon region. I know I want to talk about the Pitalala Reserve in the Ecuadorian Amazon rainforest. Both of these ecosystems are completely different. One of the most amazing thing about my country is, despite its really small size, we are like literally in the center of the world, and we are a really small country, but we have 4 main regions, including the cloud region, the Andean region, the coastal region, Amazon region, as you can see here, and Galapagos, that is the littoral region. So we are a really highly biodiverse and precious country. So I'm really happy to share about a little bit about how precious our landscapes are. As you can see, this is the Anzu River that comes across the Pitalala Reserve. So the Pitalala Reserve is the second but most important conservation project we have at Khamai Foundation, and we are saving the Ecuadorian Amazon rainforest from illegal mining. Sadly, here in my country and in Latin America, we have this imminent threat that this illegal mining aim to get gold and also to get fuel. So we are our major goal is to protect the Amazon rainforest against these illegal mining concessionaries that are aiming to destroy the rainforest, the whole ecosystem, just to get gold or fuel. So we are preventing this with daily efforts of protecting land. So as I mentioned before, the Pitalala Reserve was to create this specific part of the world that we call the biodiversity vertex. This was created thanks to the support of major institutions like IUC in the Netherlands, World Rainforest 4, and eco.org that until date they have been protecting and supporting our work. The reserve is now managed in close collaboration with indigenous communities because it is important for you to know that we share territory with indigenous communities here in Ecuador, specifically at the Amazon region. So for us, it's really important to respect and value the indigenous community history and presence in this conservation initiative. So they are our major partners. One of our major collaborators is the Apuya Quichua community, who is now our supporters in field. So we are combining this local leadership and traditional knowledge with scientific research from part of our team. Our conservation efforts at the reserve are now protecting forests, such as deforestation, which is the main threat of illegal mining in our country. So you can see, I have some photos. We also have here at the Pitalala Reserve a little toad, which I might say is even smaller than the Mindo harlequin toad. This is the spotted rocket frog. Its scientific name is Loxalus maculosus, that it's also endangered, but thanks to the support of our donors, we have been able to expand the reserve from 72 to 152 hectares of protected rainforest. So now this little one and its population is being protected on a daily basis as well. We also have the poison dart frogs. You can see this specimen is beautiful. It has these bright red and bluish colors. They are really tiny, but it is super precious to see while you are walking, especially on the night. You can see them just being and thriving in its habitat, and that's what we want. We want the species, communities, and the ecosystem being protected without any kind of disturbance. We also are protecting the habitat of the jaguar. This is the one most important big cats we have in America, and we are really happy to be protecting because the jaguar is also vulnerable thanks to the illegal mining concessionary expansions. We also have snakes, as this one is really pretty, a whole kind of diversity of insects, spiders, monkeys that are really pretty, and this is our whole team. In Khamai Foundation, we have these biologist parties we call BioBlitz. So once or twice in the year, we held these biodiversity or biologist parties. So we gather scientific scientists and passionate about conservation from all over the world to join us during a 1 week of field work between the Arlequin Reserve and the Pitalala Reserve, so they can help us to monitoring species, to collect important data that may help us to determine future conservation actions that we needed to take care in our work. So, for example, one important thing that I want to share you after my experience as a biologist, as a conservation biologist in my country, is that conservation is about people and as much is about wildlife. Without our help, wildlife could not be protected. So conservation succeeds when communities, researchers, student organizations, and young people like you are working together with us. So that's why educational programs like this. So thanks once again, Joe, for having me today. It's really important because I can share you how you can help us. If you don't like field, it is okay, but sharing about this work, sharing with your friends, with your family, donating, in every way you can, you are making a big impact on this conservation. So yeah, it is connected to all of us, and you guys are the future of conservation, are the future of our world, are the future of other species. So the next generation of scientists, teachers, leaders, or just volunteers may begin with a single class session just like this, or when you go to your field or to your parks or to your national parks. So yeah, that's all from me. I'm really happy to have shared. Let me just stop sharing about this screen. And oops. Yeah, I think I stopped sharing right now, guys.
Yep. Yeah, it's down, Gabby. I got you back. Thank you, Gabby. It was great to have you join us for the first time today. It's great work you're doing. You're pretty lucky. You live in one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. Ecuador is a beautiful country, but as you highlighted today, that biodiversity is in trouble, and we all need to know about it, and we all need to be playing our role, whether it's telling other people about it, making donations, making sure other people are aware about it, thinking about what we buy, and the companies we support. All those things can make a difference and help protect these spots.
Yeah, exactly. It's super important for us to understand that maybe we can change the whole world system, but we can make a small contribution. So, in my perspective, every contribution matters.
Yeah.
From sharing on your social media about the small NGOs to big NGOs, but care about the species and be the voice of the one who doesn't have a voice at all.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into some Q&A action. So if you are tuning in, don't be shy. Use the chat sidebar. I see we've got some questions in here already. So the first one, I think a good place to start, Gabby, this is from a 4th grade class, and they're wondering, where did your passion for nature, where did your passion for the rainforest come from?
Well, I think my passion from the rainforest and for nature came from growing in this country because I'm really lucky, as you said, to be able to visit a different ecosystems in a really short period of time. So I have the coastal region at 5 hours from Quito, or I have the Andean region at 1 hour, or the Amazonian region. So it is really precious to have growth within this country because we have sunny days on the morning, we have rainy days on the afternoon, especially here in Quito and the Andean region. We have hummingbirds, we have different species. When I started my career as a biologist, when I visit the Yasuni National Park on the Amazon region, it was precious to see how much different species they are on a different taxas. When I visit Galapagos, I was breathtaking because Galapagos is one of the most important um, treasures, biodiversity treasures we have. So yeah, I think it is becomes on the fact that I have grown in Ecuador as a highly biodiverse country.
All right. Very cool. So speaking of high diversity, the next question I have here, this is from some 7th graders in Florida, and they're wondering, what is it about Ecuador that leads to such a high level of biodiversity? What are the ingredients for an area to have lots of biodiversity?
Well, this makes a little bit of science as well, but my country is situated right in the middle of the world, specifically in the tropical region. So it is super important. Well, I'm going to explain it like in an easy and a fast way because not to get into science. So as we are on the center of the world and in the Americas, my country receives a lot of different benefits, geographical benefits, as we have different climates all over the country. So this is again with the region and the Andean region. For example, in the Andean region, when the continents were forming, when there were like this movements of the tectonic plates, when the mountains were created, they were created different altitudinal regions. So for example, one side of the mountain have one species, for example, a bird species, but on the other side, we have completely different ecosystems. So the Andean region serves as a biological corridor to create this biological diversification we have here in our country. Galapagos is precious. The Amazon region has the tropical weather. Quito is like Andean, rainy, cloudy. The coastal region is hot, but it also has these different species. So yeah, it's like and how the world was created, if it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, very cool. Okay, let's see what else we have here. So we're going to go to Minnesota now for another question, for a question. And the question is, what's it like to be in the field, in the rainforest? So what's important gear for you to bring with you? What's it like to work in the rainforest?
Okay, that's a very good question. So field gear depends a lot on which region you are working. So in the rainforest, on the cloud forest, you must always carry, well, in every kind of, an important fact, in every kind of fieldwork, you must wear your boots because you are working on maybe on swamps or water. Maybe when you are walking by, you might encounter snakes. So, for example, snakes does not attack because they are mean. So, for example, if you're working and you just step where the snake is, maybe the snake can attack you, but in self-defense. So it's really important to always carry your boots. When you are working both in the cloud forest or in the Amazon rainforest, rain is always probable to happen. So if you don't like to be like all wet, it is important to carry a raincoat. When we are working on night field work, it is also important to carry your headlamps, snake hood if you are going to look for snakes. Adjust your eyes. Your eyes are going to be your most important filter. You have to be aware of everything. If you are looking for frogs, you have to be looking above leaves or within the whole plants. So yeah, that might say be the most important filter in every kind of fieldwork, but mostly on the cloud and the Amazon rainforest.
Okay, and so what is your favorite part about working in the field, being in the field, and what is the part that maybe it's not so much fun? Maybe the most challenging part.
Okay, my favorite part of being in the field is to be sharing with my teammates because fieldwork is super fun when you have an incredible team. So I'm really lucky to have an really incredible team that knows a lot of different things in biology. For example, my boss, it is specialized in reptiles and amphibians, and he knows a lot. I have been learning a lot from him since I have started working with him. But we also have our bird specialist. So when I work, she is called Anita. So when I, for example, go to the field with Anita, she's like, "Oh, see that bird, see that one." Things that my eyes are not used or prepared to see. So I have learned a lot thanks to them. And I would say that the most challenging thing is how weather can vary between seasons. So when you have to monitoring, especially frogs, you have to consider how climate can be. So when it's really a rainy seasons, going up on hills or going down to the river, it's really difficult because it's really slightly. So you are most frequent to fall. It's really fun though, but it's really tired as well, especially when you're working on the Amazon. The Amazon region is super hot and it's really tiring, but it's worth it at all, in my opinion.
All right. So another question here coming your way. You talked about the gold mining. So this is from some students here in Ontario, here in Canada. And they're wondering, have you ever, while you were in the field, ever come across any illegal gold mines? And the people who are running them, are they a danger to you or the team when you're in the field?
Okay, yeah, this is an important question as well. Sensitive, I may say it as well. So yeah, illegal miners are bad people. They come from illegal mafias that just want to destroy the ecosystem in name of money. So we have not became across with these people because they don't want to get across with us as well. So the thing works like this: we can work in peace whenever we don't bother their activities. We have the support of Ecuadorian military that they are working to capture and stop these illegal activities, but for us it's really important to act respectfully towards them because they are big and bad operational mafias. Not only in my country, in Colombia, and in Peru, in Brazil, we have this problem in Latin America. But we are trying to be the most respectful because we don't want to mess with them. We just want to protect our species. So yeah, we have to be really careful with these people.
Okay, let me come here and switch the view. There we go. Awesome, Gabby. So I think it's about time we get to talking to some of those really cool reptiles, really cool amphibians. So, sometimes you're finding species that are there, but they're endangered. Sometimes you're finding species that are brand new to science. Sometimes you're even finding species, I think, that people thought disappeared, but then they're found again back in these wild places. So the photographs, the information that you bring back from the field is really important. How does the media, the storytelling, how does that help you with the conservation work?
Well, storytelling is one of the most important considerations we have when we are trying to share about our information. In Khamai Foundation, we work with our filmmaker, David Hakami, who is one of the best storytellers here in Ecuador, because we have to consider that scientific data might be boring or difficult to understand to people in general, and it is completely okay. We have a lot of numbers or geographical data that if I tell you, it's like, okay, what can I do with that? And it's completely okay because that's our work to understand their data. But our work is also to share this type of data in a friendly way. So we love to create impactful visual media that help you to understand the important things about our work. For example, that was the case with the minor harlequin dove. This frog species, was believed extinct for almost 30 years, and we discovered five individuals. Well, my boss and his team back on then discovered five individuals of the species back on 2019. After that, when we started working and Khamai Foundation was created, we found two additional survivors. So we created this whole storytelling media, the story that captures how important it is to understand that a species is coming back from death, from extinction. So we are almost trying to share this message in impactful ways and sharing the landscapes, sharing how the species, and sharing also how exciting is to find this species as well for us, because it's like, okay, you find a species, it is okay, but when you can share the faces, the emotions that we are having in that moment on field, I think people most like that about this. Like, wow, they are super happy to find this species. That means it's super important. So we are trying to share the same emotions through our storytelling content in our social media.
All right, awesome. There really is a power to storytelling, and having the visuals to go along with it, that really helps connect with the general public. I want to jump to the topic of new species, finding new species in the wild, describing those new species. So this is a question from some second graders wondering if you have ever been on an expedition where a new species was found in the wild and what that was like.
Well, as unfortunately, I haven't been yet on a species or on a new species survive, but I have been told that it's really exciting. However, discovering a new species is not as easy as most people think, because you can find a new species that is really similar to another one. For example, I have this bird that is gray, and I have this other bird that is also gray, but maybe they share just a little black point on, I don't know, their feathers that might determine that is a new species. So it is super important to consider that the new species discovery involves a long process that is monitoring the species, sometimes collecting the species, running DNA studies, analysis, and after that, creating a phylogeny that determines if this species is new or just a subvariation of the species per se. But it's really important because when we are talking about new species, is that evolution and the whole creation of new species of natural system is still working. So yeah, that might be my answer to that question.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. Okay, so this might be an easy question. This might be a really hard question. What is your favorite species of reptile or amphibian that you have seen in the wild?
Difficult question. Well, my favorite genre or animal, I must say, are frogs and turtles. But my favorite species, I will say, is the Atelopus genre. The frog, as Atelopus mendoensis, because they are really tiny. In the photos, they seem, as I mentioned before, they seem bigger, but they are really tiny. Like they are just the size of the middle of my thumb. And frogs are beautiful because they are just super tiny and they have the big eyes and they are really important for the ecosystem. So I don't have a favorite species, but I may say that my favorite type of animals are frogs and turtles.
All right, good choices. And it's just some students might not appreciate just how small frogs can be. I've seen frogs that could just sit on your thumb, just tiny little frogs that
Yes.
can just sit on your thumb really comfortably. But then they can also get really big. But there's just something special about seeing something like a frog that's so small, a tiny little guy. It is pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what? My favorite parts of seeing like fully formed baby frogs is to see that they might be really, really tiny. I have seen, for example, baby individuals of Atelopus mendoensis. And for me, it's super hard taking how they have a small, really, really small hearts beating in really small living beings. So it's really important to consider how important are other living things as well, and how we should protect them because they can be protected by themselves. So that's one of the most thing that's passionate about my work.
Yeah, very, very cool. Okay, well, two more questions here for you, Gabby. The first one, we mentioned your position as the vice president of the organization. So obviously, some of your work is spent in the field, but it's not all of your work. So what else are important parts of your job?
Yeah, okay. My first initial duties as a vice president, I started working as the director of grants when I started working at Khamai Foundation. The director of grants was mainly to get financial support from international institutions to continue with their work. After that, when I start working on learning different things and learning how to be in field as well, I got promoted to vice president. And now my initial duties are to get also fundraising, but to bigger institutions, to get greater grants, to connect with donors, because my boss always tell me that I'm really good at networking. I don't know. I'm really good with people. I love to talk and I love to be like sharing and things like that. So yeah, it might be like in the city, like networking, getting funds, sending grants, but also like going to the field, recording videos for donors, telling how things are advancing thanks to their support, and that's all. But it's a really extensive work, but I'm a workaholic, so I'm really happy to be just like that.
All right, perfect. And so the final question I have for you today, Gaby, is what's next? What's next for you in your work, going out into the field? What's the next few months going to look like for you and the work?
Okay, so on a short-term period, we are going to continue our projects, mostly focusing this year on the expansion of the Pitadala Reserve. We are aiming to expand the Pitadala Reserve into 2,000 of protected hectares of the Amazon rainforest, so we have a lot of work to do. But I'm also looking forward to keep connecting with people in activities like this, keep sharing how important conservation work is, not only at Khamai Foundation, but all over the places that are all over of different NGOs that are working and caring about their ecosystems. I'm aiming to become a top tier conservationist, to share conservation models all over the world and achieve the same goal we all have. I believe we all have is to protect our species, protect our world, and get this final goal is to people and nature can thrive in peace for the long term.
All right, I'm going to come back here from backstage. I want to start off with a huge shout out. Thank you so much to the classrooms who tuned in live with us today. Thank you for sending in those great questions. I know more will tune into the recording, so I look forward to that as well. And Gaby, thank you so much. Thank you so much for not only the important work that you're doing in Ecuador, but being so willing to come and share today with classrooms, with students, to tell your biodiversity story.
No, thank you so much again. Thank you all guys for sending your question. All really matter for me. You can follow us, Khamai, if you have social media, Khamai on Instagram. And we'll be really happy to answer if you have any additional questions, or just happy to keep sharing content like this on the future. So thank you, Joe, for having me. Really important for me. And that's all.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We hope to see you in more events next week when we switch over to some ocean action. But for now, we're going to say goodbye and sign off. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Gaby.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day, you all.
All right. Thanks, Gaby.